Hi guys, hello. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's good today. It is, I was gonna swear it's too hot. I was gonna say it's too effing hot, but then I stopped myself. I was just trying to be professional. Um, hey Darwood, happy Saturday to you too. How's the gardening going? I've got good news. So you know the grapes that I planted. There's like a little bunch of like eight tiny grapes on there, and they're like the size of your nail in total. But there's eight tiny grapes. So I'm hoping this grape experiment goes well. But yeah, hope your gardening's going well as well. We've got Bagwell here. Hi Bagwell. Hope you're doing good. We got Jeff in the chat saying nice new kit. Thank you. I appreciate that. I was expecting a lot of what the hell's that? What the hell are you wearing? What's that thing? What's that weird looking thing? But yeah, I think this is the away kit. I think for next year. So the weird thing is, like, all the kits for next year, they all look pretty good. So might have to get all three. Pixel says, is anyone on the back? There is someone on the back. I don't know if I can show you. I feel like I always mess this up. Big Ryan indeed. He deserves it. He deserves it after the season he's had. He deserves to be on our Twitch streams after after the season that he's had. Ryan Hullett, indeed. You're probably referring to that picture, that photoshopped picture of him, where Gravenberch, like, it doesn't look photoshopped. Like, it just looks genuine. Like, he fits into the mustache and the mullet. So yeah, he should probably go for that style permanently. Fish is here. Hello, Fish. How are you? I'm looking forward to your top 10 hottest players list that changes every week. But yeah, hope you're good, Fish. Hope you are well. Pixel says, what do you mean? Photoshop. That photo is real, yeah. To be honest with you, like, the first time I looked at it, like, I actually did think it was real. And now I've convinced myself it is real. There was like a YouTube clip where they do like the social media thing, and the social media person showed him that photo, and he found it hilarious. Fish never misses a stream. Yep, Fish is always here telling us his top 10 hottest players list. Was it Carlos Vela who was number one last time? I think it might have been. Derwood says, my gardening is going good. My granddaughter and I were just outside planting flowers. Inside plants are growing like weeds. Great news about your grapes. Yeah, no, that's good to hear. It's a relaxing activity. Planting things, and it's definitely a good activity to do in groups as well. So yeah, no, that's good. That's really good to hear. Yeah, super happy about the grapes. They're tiny though, but I'll keep an eye on them every single day. I'm gonna get one of those bags to I forget the name of them, but there's like a bag that you can get to put over the grapes so that birds don't come and eat them. So I've got a couple of those ready for when I need them. Fish says, sir, I have a Fabianski West Ham shirt. I'm going to burn it. Why are you going to burn it, Fish? Is there a specific reason? I feel like I should know this reason and I don't, which is probably a bad sign. Chesney is the positive, but Fabianski is the old man. What's Fabianski done? There's something in the back of my head, but I'm an old man like Fabianski as well, so I'm not quite remembering it. Ooh, Pixel is going to a game tonight. Taking my parents out to Red Bull versus Galaxy. Very nice, very nice. Is that So what state is that in? Is that in like New York area or is that in LA? Is it Red Bulls is New York, I think. New Jersey, right, okay. New Jersey. I think that's the other side, the west side of Manhattan, I think, from what I recall. But yeah, no, it's very, that's good to hear. Let me know what it's like. It's always good to get out to a stadium and watch a game. And yeah, I'm sure your parents will enjoy it as well. Gardening is relaxing, except except when you have a 4-year-old helping. True, it can turn into somewhat of a stressful experience then, but it can be stressful and relaxing at the same time, I guess. Just give me 1 second. There's just someone at the door. I'll just be 1 second. I'll run and come back. Maybe a few seconds. If I don't hear loud music, that beast, you're too quiet. What does that mean, Fish? Are you already on the narcotics? It's only 6:30 in Poland. Mac and cheese backwards, indeed. I've still never had mac and cheese, Fish. I think I'm missing out. Barry Allen says, "Hey, hello, Barry, fastest man alive. Hope you're doing good." We've got Barry Allen in the chat, and we also have Jay Garrick in the chat, which is, for anyone who watches The Flash, those are like two different flashes. Kane Undertaker 13 says, "Hi, thoughts on the Frimpong links? I'll just get to that just in a second. They're just doing the starting lineups for this. So Bournemouth have got Arrizabalaga, Smith, Zaboni, Hoyson. So part of the reason I wanted to watch this game is to snoop on some of the players that we may or may not be purchasing. So this is a watch along, but it's also a snoop along on Hoyson, Kirkes, and possibly even Semenyo. So the noise has been loudest about Kirkes, left back. The noise has perhaps been moderate about Hoyson, centre back. The noise has been quiet about Semenyo, but there has been a bit of noise. So interested to see how these three do against Villa, who having a decent season, did decently well in the Champions League and are currently 7th. Aston Villa, Martinez, Cash, Konza, Mings, Digne, Onana, Kamara, Ramsey, Asensio, Rogers, and Watkins. Fair enough. Yeah, I'll definitely be supporting Bournemouth today. Because it looks like I think we'll get at least one of their players, so it makes sense to kind of support Bournemouth. They're just about to kick off, and then I'll get to the Frimpong thing. Iraola and what's its face? Emery. They look vaguely similar. I've never noticed that before. So it's Bournemouth kicking off. Bournemouth attacking from left to right. And of course, as always, they don't show the timer immediately, so then I have to guess. And I've put it on 5 minutes instead of 5 seconds. Oh, good. Fantastic. We are good now. Yeah, Bournemouth pressing quite high from the start. Foul, though. Yeah, sorry. Kane Undertaker was saying hi. Thoughts on the Frimpong link? To be honest with you, I don't know if this is the wrong thing to say, but I'm like so excited for Frimpong. I know that's the wrong thing to say, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, he can't defend. He can't defend. He's worse at defending than Trent is." But I'm like, dude, Frimpong is rapid. He's one of the fastest players I've kind of seen in a while. I think technically he's very, very good. From an attacking perspective, he's also very good. Basically plays right wing in terms of the attacking position for Netherlands, which also provides good cover for Salah, because I think Salah's got his AFCON again this year. So there's cover there for Salah. Additionally, I think he counts as homegrown because he came from Man City. Additionally, again, good interception by Huijsen there. Huijsen looking like a mini Van Dijk. But yeah, as I was saying, also kind of homegrown. Also quite cheap, apparently. About £30 million mark. So I think they said 35 million euros, so about £30 million, which is cheap. Also from a wages perspective, is going to be quite low. Moreover, I think it's pretty much confirmed now that Xabi is going to Real Madrid. So it will be like a nice fresh start for him as well, if you know what I mean, from his perspective. So yeah, I'd be kind of all over this signing. We're going to be bombing down the right with Frimpong and bombing down the left with Kerkez, and no one is going to remember Trent sitting on the bench at all. Yeah, 100%. As Pixel said there, Frimpong can also play instead of Salah for AFCON on the right wing. Yeah, so we've got cover. We've got cover for multiple positions, which we know FSG, our ownership, absolutely love. Well, I guess it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, if you can cover multiple positions, that's a good thing. But yeah, and I think when we did the watch-alongs for the Conference League maybe a month ago, he was the man of the match for Netherlands. He even scored for Netherlands. So yeah, I'm all aboard the hype train for £30 million. And as Jeff has said there as well, £30 million from home for a homegrown, it is peanuts. It is literally peanuts, especially in this market. This feels, again, I might be getting ahead of myself a bit when I say this, but it feels a bit like a McAllister-ish signing, where we buy him for 30 million, and then everyone turns around a year later and they say, "Oh, how did Liverpool get him for 30 million? Where did they get him from?" So yeah, I'm all aboard the kind of Frimpong train. Super excited, and I kind of hope it happens. We've got Jamie Phillips in the chat. It says, "Big up, fella." Hello, Jamie. Hope you're doing well. Jamie's one of my kind of favorite Liverpool channels on YouTube. Kind of covers a variety of topics, but I think what I like most about Jamie, he comes across as very honest, kind of very sincere. No kind of bullshit. No kind of clickbait, if you know what I mean, just kind of honest stuff. And yeah, I definitely kind of recommend everyone check out Jamie. I watch him kind of whenever I can. Fish says, Borussia Mönchengladbach versus Bayern Munich. Is that the game that you're watching at the moment, Fish? Hi, Ricardo. Hope you're doing well. Hope you are doing good. Supman says apparently Arsenal signing Zubimendi. They are, and to be honest, I don't really care. Like I don't want to. I'm not particularly fussed. Like I've seen like some people having like generational head loss over Arsenal signing yet another defensive player, and I'm like, and is this supposed to worry me? Like if Arsenal signed a striker, perhaps I'd be concerned. If Arsenal signed a attacking midfielder, perhaps I'd be a bit perturbed. But yet another defensive player, like I don't know. Again, I might be talking nonsense because let's be honest, I talk nonsense at least 50% of the time. So there's a 1 in 2 chance here. But yeah, with respect to Zubimendi going to Arsenal, doesn't concern me in the slightest. And in a way, this is gonna sound like a really kind of harsh thing to say, but in a way, I feel like he kind of fits that club. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure he hasn't really won anything. He doesn't really seem to have the mentality to say play for a Liverpool. So I'm like, yeah, you go to Arsenal. You enjoy the mountains of North London, and see how far you get. I just find it insane. Jamie says, "Cheers, fella." No worries. Just being honest. But yeah, definitely everyone check out Jamie. Liverpool content on YouTube and watchalongs on bigup.com. Foul on Mings, yeah. Oh God, players on the floor. I hope that's not Hoyson. I think it might be Scott. But all the paramedics are still sitting on the side like this. So if all the paramedics are still sitting there, it can't be that concerning. Yeah, Mings kind of elbowed him in the face, but to be fair, it looked like a bit of an accident. Yeah, Scott's alive. This game can go on. But yeah, super interested to kind of see how Kirkes does here. There's just too much noise. There's just too much noise about Kirkes, if you know what I mean. So I think it's pretty likely. That we're probably going to end up getting him. It'll be funny if we didn't. Don't get me wrong. Well, not funny. It will be disappointing if we don't get him. But again, I don't think that's any reason to kind of have head loss about it. I think this kind of ownership structure has shown that they kind of know what they're doing. And we only need to go back to last season when they didn't sign anyone. I know they signed Chiesa, but that doesn't count. But as I was saying, we only need to go back to last season where they didn't sign anyone and they said, you know what? This team is very strong. It's very hard. It's very hard to strengthen this team. And I think I and pretty much everyone thought that was nonsense, thought that was an excuse, thought that they were talking rubbish. And then 8 months later, we kind of won the league. So with that in mind, like with kind of whatever they do, I feel like they've not necessarily bought themselves time, but have perhaps bought themselves a level of confidence for me to say, you know what, do what you gotta do this summer. Bring in who you've got to bring in. Sell Nunes to whoever you've got to sell him to. I'm not gonna get upset about it. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna kind of cry about it, kind of thing. That is a good point, to be fair, there with Pixel. To be fair, with some signings, Champions League would have maybe gone a bit deeper. Probably could have done. To be fair, the way I kind of look at it is, if they had said to me at the start of the season, you can have a Premier League and nothing else, like I would have taken it, kind of thing. So whilst you are correct, I don't know. Perhaps I'm just getting a bit soft in my old age. I'm like, you know what? You gave me a Premier League. It's okay, but you are correct. From a squad perspective, I do think we kind of lack depth in certain positions, and I do think this season was highly reliant on Salah having a generational season, which probably ain't gonna happen again next season. So there are areas to strengthen. Even just rotation for the Premier League games. Yeah, that's a good point as well, and that's something we've spoken about as well. I think my biggest, I don't want to say concern, but my biggest what's a synonym for concern? The biggest opportunity I think there is. See, I'm using the word opportunity instead of concern because I was at work yesterday where we're not allowed to use words like concern. We say opportunities instead. So I think the biggest opportunity is perhaps in defensive midfields with respect to Gravenberch. I love Gravenberch. I love Gravenberch so much. I am literally wearing his name on the back of this shirt. And I'm more than happy for Gravenberch to be a starter next season, but those little legs can't play another 1,000 games next season. Because I feel like we made this mistake with Fabinho. We signed Fabinho after the Champions League final, and then we played him every single game. Fabinho. And then a few years later, we say that his legs have gone. And the guy's not even 30. And I think I'm explaining this point a bit badly, but I would want to see kind of cover brought in for Gravenberch so that we don't burn him out. That's kind of one of the main areas for me, I think. Ange Postecoglou. Ange says, "G'day, mate. Always win a trophy in my second season, mate." And you might do. I know everyone was laughing at you, Ange, but you might actually win a trophy in your second season. And you know what? I hope you do. I hope you do, mate. Because if you do win a trophy, mate, in your second season, mate, it gives us another point to make fun of Arsenal about. So yeah, I'm firmly aboard your train, Mr. Postecoglou. Shot there by Bournemouth, just goes over. Ooh, Villa through here. Kirk has defended. Nice one, Milos. Carlos Vela says hi, which is super interesting, Carlos Vela, because we have somebody else in the chat who last week gave their top 10 hottest footballers list, and you were number 1, Carlos Vela. So I don't know if Fish can see this, but he'll be very happy. He'll be very happy to see Carlos Vela. Whatever happened to Carlos Vela? He was the bee's knees, wasn't he? When he was he at Barcelona or something? Mexican player. Because I remember in like Football Manager, he was amazing. I'm just googling your work history, Carlos Vela. Arsenal. Oh yeah, he was at Arsenal, wasn't he? Arsenal, Real Sociedad, Los Angeles FC. For LAFC, Carlos Vela, you've scored 78 goals in 152 appearances. That's pretty good. That's a goal every other game. Carlos Vela says, "Oh, that guy Fish is my brother." That's good to hear. I don't know if this is also Fish, but I'll happily pretend this is two separate people. Scott on the floor again. Scott got elbowed in the face again. Like that's all that happens to this guy. Okay, they've replayed it now. The Villa player barely touched him, and he went flying. See, for me, if referees think a player dives, should be a booking. I mean, if you get a booking for just kicking the ball away, you should get a booking for diving. It just irritates me, man. Clive at warming up. Carlos Vela says, "Where am I?" Last I saw Carlos Vela, you were in LA. Fish also said previously, Todibo and Saliba is Thierry Henry's grandsons. Do you think if you mix the two, they look like him? I've never noticed that, but you might be onto something. They need to take this Cook guy off, man. Okay, Villa starting. Ball goes to Cash. Cash plays it back. Konza. Onana, mate. Andre's not my name, mate. Asensio. Ooh, poor pass. Intercepted. Crossed in by Villa. Cleared. Goes back to Mings. So Villa pressing very high. Bournemouth quite deep here. Mings breaks down the left, crosses it in. Cleared. Tavernier. Evan Nielsen not wearing his earrings today. Okay, Hoyson on the ball. Let's see what he does. Nice forward pass. Hoyson's got something about him. I don't know what it is. I mean, I know he looks assured on the ball, but I don't know if that's putting it a bit too simply. Hoyson again. Imagine if we get Hoyson and Kirkers. That's pretty much the entirety of Bournemouth's left-hand side. Tavernier. Ooh, saved by Villa. But yeah, from a Liverpool perspective, it will be interesting to see who we get as a striker, because Darwin's pretty much definitely gone. Let's be honest. So there's at least one. Oh, that was a nice tackle. So there's at least kind of one position in the striking department there. Possibly Jota will also go. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's happened to Jota. Like, he just moves like a zombie. Like, I don't know if it's the fact that he's not fully fit, but it can't be that, because he's been like that for half a season. Kirkes to Semenyo. Imagine we get Semenyo as well, then it is literally all of Bournemouth's left-hand side, because Semenyo's playing on the left. But yeah, as I was saying, Nunez is pretty much definitely going to go. So you're looking at probably around 60-ish million there. I don't know who we get though. I just feel like it's not gonna be one of the obvious names. I think Isak is too expensive. He's too far out of our price range. 140 million. Like I know we do spend big if we generate a lot of money through sales, but even then like 140 million, 120 million, don't see that happening. Alvarez looks pretty good. Alvarez reminds me of kind of Firmino to a certain degree, with respect to kind of how deep he comes to collect the ball, with respect to his kind of playmaking ability. But again, Alvarez is going to be expensive as well. He literally just went for 85 million last year to Atletico. And he's done really, really well. So he'd command at least that, but probably more. The only kind of chance we get, or should I say, the only chance we perhaps have of getting him for a relatively modest fee is if he, like, I've heard something that he might have fallen out with Simeone, and so Simeone wants to get rid. But I don't know how much truth there is in that. Alvarez, I don't think is going to happen either. Cunha's probably not going to happen either. He seems to be Man United bound. Well, he did seem like that a few weeks ago. We haven't heard much about that since. I reckon it's going to be some unknown guy, to be honest. Which, again, isn't necessarily a problem. If it's an unknown guy from some random small team, and he turns out great, fantastic. I don't care too much kind of what team he's from. I care kind of what he can do. Because I think all the names that we've been linked with, it's just too convenient and it's too neat to purely be all the names that we're kind of linked with, if you know what I mean. Like Kirkes for left back, Hoyson for centre back, Isak for striker. It might be one or two of those, but I really doubt the media knows 100% of what the club's doing. The oldest Japanese player. Is that Endo? Endo might actually be the oldest Japanese player, you know. Ooh, Asensio. See, Asensio a few years ago would have ran through like the Flash. But unfortunately, Asensio these days couldn't quite run as quick as he used to, and then Bournemouth players just catch up with him. But yeah, why are you saying the oldest Japanese player? Are you talking about Endo? Or is there something else? See, all the things you say, Fish, I always have to Google them because I never know what you're talking about. Oldest Japanese football player is Kazuyoshi Miura. 58. Wow. 58 and he's still playing. Granted, he's got no goals, but what do you expect? That's impressive. I mean, he looks in pretty good condition for 58, to be fair. He looks in really good condition for 58. I'll give him that. Fish says, I am ballerina cappuccina. I thought that was a cat thing, but you're a fish. How does that make sense? Headed out by Villa, goes to, it's not, Andre's not my name, mate. Andre's not my name, mate, is on the floor. Andre's not my name, mate, gets up. Free kick to Villa. Luca Dean is going to take it. Let's see what Luca Dean can do. Not much by the looks of it. goes straight back to Bournemouth. Goes back to Kepa. I wonder if Kepa is still the most expensive goalkeeper in the world. I remember we bought Alisson for like 60 odd, and then Chelsea bought Kepa 2 days later for a bit more than that. He seems to be having a better time at Bournemouth, to be fair, than Chelsea. But you can say that about most players. Booking for Scott, thank God. This Scott guy is just getting on my nerves. Every time Scott has anything to do, he either fouls the player or he gets fouled. So yeah, book him. Book him and his stupid Scott Parker hairstyle. Free kick to Villa. Fairly uneventful game so far, if I'm honest. But considering we are scouting and watching the defensive players for the Reds, that's probably a good thing. Of course, they're going to make a mistake now, but let's hope not. Kamara boots it back in. Ooh, Evan Nielsen gets fouled by Asensio. Like, what's the point of doing this? What's the point in doing this? You literally just karate kicked him and you're like, don't book me. Please don't book me. Like, oh, what do you think's going to happen, Marco? Kepa taking this free kick. Goes to Semenyo. Ooh, goes to Evan Nielsen. Defended. Corner. Dean Smith in the chat, who is a fan of Liverpool shirts, says, have you got a number on the back of your Liverpool shirt? I do, Dean Smith. This is a new one. This is a new shirt, which is why I haven't shown it to you before. I'll show you after this corner. Cleared. I don't know if you can see that. The big Dutchman. Not the big Dutchman, not Van Dijk. But yeah, I wanted to get a Gravenberch shirt just to reward him for the good season that he's had. I was like, you've done very well, Ryan. Like you've done very nicely. I will buy your shirt. Who would have ever thought it though? Like in his first season, Gravenberch wasn't great, let's be honest. I appreciate that was under a different system and under a different manager, and he just moved to a new country. He just moved to England after just moving to Germany before that, which can be disruptive for someone who's still 20, which is still basically a teenager. But who would have thought a change of manager and a change of position could completely reinvigorate a player? He's probably not even one of, he might be my favourite player in the team, you know, which is why I get a bit butthurt when I see kind of prospective 11s for next year and Gravenberch is on the bench. I'm like, why? He's literally been integral to us winning the league. I don't know. I don't know why kind of people would bench him. Like I've seen lineups where people are putting Zubimendi and they kind of bench Gravenberch. I've seen lineups where people have Adam Wharton playing next season and they bench Gravenberch. Gravenberch for me is kind of key to the system. Granted, it doesn't work every time, but like he's not messy. You know what I mean? But a good 80% of the time, it does work pretty well. Dean Smith says, "Can you please wear your Gravenberch shirt backwards? I'm asking you politely." I would, Dean, but then I'd literally flash you, and YouTube might take me down for explicit content. You know what I mean? Red Rebellion in the chat. Definitely check out Red Rebellion. I was watching. He's got a compilation of Salah's goals from his original season. And it's kind of interesting to kind of watch it now. It was 8 years ago. It was 8 years ago. But even now, you can still kind of remember them. And he mentioned that going forward, he's going to create goals from 1992 onwards. So definitely kind of subscribe to Red Rebellion. So it's always good to kind of see goals of the past. Brings back nice memories, shall we say. He says Gravenberch needed a season to settle and he was not first choice under Klopp. Yeah, I think it's perhaps a combination of those things. He still kind of was very young. He's very young now, and he was, of course, even younger when he came. Sometimes it can be a bit disruptive moving to a new country, especially after you just moved to a new country before that in Germany, and then you move to a new country again in England. That can be a bit disruptive. New environment, new surroundings, finding a new house, getting settled with the weather, getting settled with the food and all that. So I think that was perhaps a bit kind of disruptive. And he was not first choice in the club. True, he wasn't first choice. He was a would it be fair to say he was a bit part kind of bench player playing in the number 8 position? From what I remember, Endo was the kind of starting defensive midfielder last season, and kind of Gravenberch would come on in the kind of number 8 position. So yeah, I guess also when you're not first choice, it's a bit kind of disruptive. You can't really build a rhythm. You play 30 minutes here, you play 10 minutes here, and then you don't play any minutes the next game. But yeah, it was a bit disappointing, I think, to see last season where a lot of people were saying, yeah, Salim is rubbish. Salim. Like I don't kind of understand the kind of giving up on players after one season. I can understand it after 3 seasons, Mr. Darwin, but after one season, it's like it just felt a bit too kind of early to kind of give up on him. So that's kind of why I'm kind of super happy to kind of see him doing so well, and kind of why I was like, yeah, gotta get a Gravenberch shirt. But yeah, next season I hope he kind of kicks on further. I do think we need to perhaps get some cover / competition for Gravenberch, because I don't want his knees and I don't want his legs burning out by the time he's 26. Like I don't want another Fabinho situation. So hopefully we do get some cover and give the guy a bit of rest. Dean Smith says, "Can you do me a deal for the second half? Can you please wear your Liverpool shirt backwards for me, please?" I would, Dean, but it's a similar thing I mentioned last time. So I've had like and again, this is not me talking nonsense. Like I've had like an operation here in this part of my neck, and so if I wear the shirt backwards, it strangles that side, and then it's just not very comfortable. Red Rebellion says, "Are you excited about the summer window, and which player do you think are on the chopping block?" Oh, that's a good question. That's a very good question there, Red Rebellion. I am excited about the summer window. Part of the reason for that is I've got a feeling that this will be the biggest summer window that we've had in many years. I appreciate it's very easy to say that considering last summer window we bought nobody, so of course the next one's going to be bigger. But I think this will be the window where kind of Hughes and Edwards put their stamp on the team to say this is our team, because what we have right now it is essentially still a Jurgen Klopp team, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, in many ways it's a good thing because it won a league title, right? But I think from I think people in senior positions, to be successful in a senior position, I think you have to have like a level of arrogance about you. And I think from a arrogant, and again, I don't say arrogance badly, but I think from an arrogant perspective, they're going to want to put their stamp on the team to say this is our team. And obviously to do that, there's going to be lots of changes. In terms of players on the chopping block then, well, Trent is obviously going to go on a free. Mr. "I am so sad to be leaving this club. It means everything to me." I couldn't watch more than 3 seconds of his announcement. But yeah, Trent's going to go. Kelleher's going to go, which is unfortunate because I really like Kelleher. I think I know there's a tendency amongst kind of football fans to say, "Oh, our player's the best in the league. Our striker's the best in the league." But I truly think Kelleher's the best, like second place goalkeeper in the league. But yeah, I think Kelleher's gonna go because he's gonna want first team football. I think Tsimikas is also gonna go because I think they're going to strengthen the left back position. So I think they'll sell Tsimikas because they can get money for Tsimikas. Whereas with Robertson, they'll probably just let his contract expire because I think he's got maybe 1 or 2 more years left. So I think Tsimikas will go. I think Elliott might go. I think Elliott might go if they get the right amount of money for him, which I think is unfortunate because I really like Elliott. I really like his attitude. I really like his ability. I think where he's perhaps unfortunate is he perhaps doesn't have the physicality for this system. And I think the position that he plays in this team demands a lot of physicality. So I think, unfortunately, Elliott is probably also going to go. I think Nunez is the most obvious one, who's going to go from a striker position. Jota potentially maybe as well. And you mentioned some there, which I'd totally forgotten, but I've actually mentioned before. So I think Kwanzaa as well could go. I like Kwanzaa, but I think the problem is, and again, I don't know if I'm just talking nonsense here, and I might be, but like for me, Liverpool play a very, very high line, and I think to play a very, very high line, you need rapid centre backs to get back in case a ball comes in over the top. Van Dijk, rapid. Konate, rapid. Joe Gomez in his day, rapid. Matip, not rapid, but had a long stride. Whereas with Konza, I don't think he necessarily has the kind of raw pace to do that. So I think you are right on Kwanzaa. Endo is a possibility. The only thing I'd say with that is like, for Endo, I think we'll only get like 10 million max. And like, what's 10 million these days? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't know. It's like someone giving you like £2 for your old phone. You're like, you might as well just keep that. Like, what am I going to do with £2 kind of thing? You might as well just keep it. So I think there is a possibility Endo could go, but I don't want him to go because I think he can still. I think he offers something different. He's a different type of defensive midfielder. He's good at kind of seeing out games. He's on low wages as well. He's got a good attitude as well. From a commercial perspective, it's good to have him. You know, shirt sales, Japan, all that. So I'd like to see him stay, but you might be onto something. Kelleher, yeah. Simicast, yeah. Chiesa is another one. I'm just like confused and curious as to what the whole Chiesa situation is. You know what I mean? Like, why is Chiesa not playing? Because when he does play, he looks alright. Like, he looks decent. Or at the very least, he doesn't look significantly worse than some of the other options in that position. So I think you are correct on Chiesa. Chiesa will probably go for a small profit. But I'm just curious, like, why is he not playing? Like I was saying, like, on another stream, like, I think he's got, like, pictures of Slot with hair or something, and, like, he's, like, blackmailing him. Because, like, what is the reason? What is the reason Chiesa's not? But I think Chiesa could be another one. And potentially also Jota as well. I think one more forward will go. Nunes, definite. And potentially one more, which could be Jota. Jota has been my favourite, or one of my favourite players for the past few years, but I don't know what it is. He's playing like a zombie this year. Like, he's late to the ball. He doesn't seem to have the pace. He's just playing like he's half asleep, like he's hungover. So I think Jota might go. Red Rebellion also says, for me, I hope we get Frimpong. I was talking about Frimpong for a good five minutes at the start. It was this guy here, Kane Undertaker 13, said high thoughts on the Frimpong link. I'll be honest, I'm so excited about Frimpong. Like, I appreciate he's not the most defensive player, but from an attacking perspective, he's absolutely amazing. From a physical perspective, he's absolutely rapid. From a physical perspective as well, quite strong. From a versatility perspective, can play multiple positions. So for the Netherlands, he actually plays right winger, which to me says, Asensio just hit the post, but it goes out. But yeah, from a versatility perspective, he can play multiple positions, right winger. From a financial perspective, he's going to be on low wages. From a financial perspective, he's going to command a low transfer fee because he's got like a £30 million release clause. And also, you could say from a financial perspective, he's homegrown. So just look at all the benefits. Financial, low fee. Financial, low wages. Financial, homegrown. Technical, very fast. Technical can kind of play multiple positions. So yeah, I'd kind of be all over Frimpong. Alvarez is your next one there. I'd be happy to have Alvarez. I think he's amazing. My only kind of concern with Alvarez is I think he might be a bit too expensive. Like, he went to Atletico last season for 85 million, and he's done really well there. So that to me says he would cost 85 million pounds at least. But possibly it'd be about like the 100 million pound price range. I don't know if we shop in that market. We're more like the Tesco type of market, whereas Alvarez feels more like kind of Waitrose kind of thing. You know, we're not Aldi, but we're Tesco. We're kind of Tesco. So I think Alvarez might be a bit expensive, but I'd love to see it. Stiller, I need to do a bit more research on. Like, again, like I don't want to sound bad, but like when I've looked at Stiller, like I've been like, he's alright, but he doesn't like wow me. But like everyone's saying Stiller, so I think I'm perhaps wrong. Like I'm perhaps wrong in this. Like he just looked like a McAllister, but not as good. But again, I could be completely wrong. Lots of people want Stiller, so I need to do more research. Huijsen, I'm with you on Huijsen. Love Huijsen. In some ways, he feels a bit like kind of the heir to kind of Van Dijk. Physically very good, defensively very good. Premier League proven, and kind of similar with Kerkez as well, who's your final one there. Physically very good, technically very good, Premier League proven, low-ish transfer fee, low wages. Yeah, I'd be all over Huijsen as well. Red Rebellion says, go listen to the pre-match conference versus United in August last year. Slot literally said Chiesa was a player for the short term. Hughes also said Chiesa was an opportunistic signing. Okay, interesting. I knew about the opportunistic signing part because it is literally an opportunistic signing in the sense that a player who had been world class in the previous seasons was available for 12 million. Partly kind of due to injuries, partly due to perhaps other reasons. So yeah, it was when we signed Chiesa. Even I was saying, yeah, you know what? That is 100% opportunistic signing. That is the definition of opportunistic signing. What I didn't know is the point you've said before that, where you've said Slot literally said Chiesa was a player for the short term. I didn't know that, but you've mentioned it's the pre-match press conference for United. I'm going to make a note of that then, because you said to check it out. Pre-match conference United. I'll watch it tonight because that one I don't remember. Okay, the short term. It must have been the short term then, if it's like 5 games. Red Rebellion says could be we signed him because he was cheap and we would swing him more for what we paid. Yeah, we're literally using him for money laundering. Money laundering it to make a profit. I used to do that in like Football Manager back in the day. Like you know, you could in January you could filter by free signings. The top 5, I'd sign them for a free. And then not pay them, and then sell them for like 30 million. And that's how I'd make loads of money. So we're literally kind of doing Football Manager with people's lives here. T1 Ak says, yo. And to that I say, yo, how are you doing? Hope you're good. Abdul Rahim says, hi, how are you? Like, comment, share, subscribe. Appreciate that, Abdul Rahim. I'm good. Good, thank you. Not too bad for a Saturday. But yeah, just watching the Bournemouth Villa game. To be honest, more excited for the Liverpool Arsenal game tomorrow. But I figured I'd do a little scouting mission on Kerkez and Huijsen. So far, very, very impressed. Very good. But yeah, I'm good. How are you? Red Rebellion says Nunez cost us 85 million. Yeah, I'm curious on like... I'm curious as to kind of how much he actually costs, because I heard like the initial fee was like 64 million. And then the remaining kind of 20 was kind of add-ons and things. So I don't know, like, have we paid 64, 69, 74? And I think the point you're saying indirectly is perhaps a good one, in the sense that we signed Nunez for 64 million, however much it was, because of the players that we sold. Because we sold Sadio Mane for about 40 million that summer. We sold Nico Williams to Nottingham Forest for about snooze this. We sold Nico Williams for about 20 million. So 40 for Sadio plus 20 for Nico Williams. That's 60 right there. And it looks like, based on what we were saying earlier, and I think also based on kind of what Red Rebellion was saying with respect to the departures, we're going to raise a lot of money again. So if Elliott goes maybe 40, if Nunez goes about 60, that's 100. And again, I'm just going on Red Rebellion's list. If Endo goes, that's 10. That's 110. If Kwanzaa goes, that's 40. That's 150. If Kelleher goes 20, because he's low contract, 170. If Simicast goes, 15, 185. And if Chiesa goes, maybe 15 again. And I think I've been conservative with those estimates. So purely based on the players that Red Rebellion listed here, that's 200 million pounds. That's kind of 200 million pounds worth of sales. So if we raise 200 million, then we might then we could reinvest. Oh my God, it's just gone. What's Kepa doing? Oh God, Kepa is trash. The ball just kind of rolled into the goal like this. Kepa just didn't pick it up. I just need to see that nonsense again. I'll wait for them to celebrate. Scheme 1 says, who do you think will win El Clasico tomorrow? They're just replaying the goal, Scheme 1. So it's crossed in by Morgan Rogers. Man, like Arrizabalaga was beaten by a cross. Oh, to be fair, Watkins did get a foot on it. Watkins did get a slight deflection on it. When that went in, because of how they show the camera, you don't see the slight deflection. And I was like, did he just get beaten by a cross? But now Watkins tapped it in. But anyway, sorry. Scheme 1 says, who do you think will win El Clasico tomorrow? Probably Barcelona. I think Barcelona have looked a bit... I'll update the score, but this might be called offside. I reckon Barcelona will win it. I think Barcelona will want revenge after kind of how things went versus PSG. They just look better to me right now. I think they're 4 points ahead in the league as well. Real Madrid look like they're, I don't want to say at the end of their era, but you know when you got a new manager coming in, and again this can apply to us who work normal jobs as well. When you got a new manager coming in, you don't really bother for the existing one because like this idiot ain't gonna be here. Who cares? Real Madrid got that kind of vibe about them, whereas Barcelona seem to have more of a determined vibe about them. So I think Barcelona will win it. But yeah, what do you think? Scheme 1. Harry's here, says hello. How are you? I'm good. I'm good, Harry. How are you? Yeah, last speaking to Harry when I was playing Resident Evil over there. But yeah, good, not too bad. How's the football? How's the football going? And hope you're feeling better as well. Red Rebellion says, we would have paid that by now. He has made more than enough appearances and we've won the league. Those could have been conditions in his... could have been. Yeah. I'd be curious to kind of know what the... what the kind of conditions were, because apparently we're not playing him at the moment, or we're not starting him at the moment, because if we start him one more game we have to pay 5 million. Perhaps it's somewhere in the middle, you know, like 64 million. 64 million was the initial fee, and the max was 85. Maybe it's 75, maybe it's 80, kind of who knows. Scheme 1 says, Flick says Levy and Bolde won't start, possibly second half appearances. Interesting. I still think you win. I still think you have kind of Ferran Torres. You still have Rafinha. You'll still have Yamal. So I think you'll still win it. I'm just gonna grab a drink, and I'll be back in 1 minute. Sorry, Scheme 1, you were saying. Flick says Lewandowski and Bolde won't start. Possibly second half appearances, yeah. Was it? It was the Inter game, wasn't it? The last one. Lewandowski kind of came on towards the end, but even then, I think the attacking talent that you have is kind of so good. I think you'll have too much for Real Madrid. You just kind of mentally as well, mentally and physically, you seem to be in a better place than they are. So I think you'll get the win even without Lewandowski. But I mean, if he comes on in the second half, you look even more threatening. Scheme 1 also says, I'm a Barca fan, so hoping they win, but not having Bolde and Koundé in defence against Inter really showed how important they are. True, it did. I think especially kind of the speed at which some of those kind of goals were conceded. But I've still I've still got a good feeling. I got a good feeling that you'll still kind of have too much for Real Madrid tomorrow. Especially like with all the kind of noise around their club about like Ancelotti leaving, Alonso coming in. These things can kind of stabilize. I should say these things can kind of destabilize a team. I mean, you just saw what happened with Liverpool after Klopp said he's leaving. Like we were flying high, and then it didn't quite go as well. Harry says, I'm all right, thanks. I've been in goal today. I made some good saves. Nice. Good to hear. Good to hear you made some good saves, and yeah, good to hear the football's going well. But yeah, good to hear you're feeling better as well. So yeah, very positive news. Abdul Rahim says, hi, how you doing? How are you doing? Oh, you never walk alone. Yeah, I think everyone's pretty good. I'm pretty good. How are you doing? I think that's the important question. But yeah, nice day. Weather's all right. Not too hot, not too cold. Can't really complain. Absolutely starving though, because I ate a bit early. But I think I can hold on for another 45 minutes. Red Rebellion says, news has it that Alvarez was close to joining us last summer, but City wanted too much money. Plus, they wanted us to include Diaz too. If that's the case, City made sure he was not coming to us. Yeah, I heard something about that. We were kind of... we did have a level of interest last season, but they wanted money, they wanted kind of Diaz, and we told them nah. I was going to swear. F off. And I think also last season there was this whole notion about kind of Slot wants to assess the squad, which I can understand the importance of. And I think additionally, last season we had all these international tournaments, so players were coming back late. Slot didn't really have much time with the players, so I think from that perspective as well, they perhaps didn't want to take any, I don't want to say unnecessary risks, but any sharp risks when the manager ain't even seen the players, if you know what I mean. But I think now that Slot has had a year with the players, we can clearly see which ones he likes and which ones he doesn't like. It could happen. I think it could happen. But that's mostly because we went through the sales earlier, and as we were kind of tallying these guys up, if I can find them, these guys here, as we were kind of tallying those up, it came to about 200 million. So like, look, if we raise 200 million in sales, plus FSG will probably put a bit on top, not a lot, but like 50 million on top, then it's a possibility. Red Rebellion also says, with Atletico having an interest in Nunes, a deal is possible. Yeah, perhaps kind of some sort of part exchange deal. Some sort of part exchange deal where everyone's happy. I don't know what the terms of that would be. Perhaps Nunes plus 40 million? Or is that a bit cheeky? Nunes plus 50 million is perhaps it's perhaps more along the right lines. Nunes plus 60 would perhaps be the upper end of the price bracket that I would perhaps go to. Any more than that, then we're probably getting ripped off. But yeah, I think Nunes plus 50-ish. I think Nunes plus 50-ish is perhaps a fair deal for everyone. But yeah, let's see what happens. It will be an exciting window. Scheme 1 says Atletico Madrid just paid 120 million for Alvarez. I think it was 85 million pounds. I can Google it for you. I think it was 85 million pounds. I'm just Googling it. Apparently 81. 81.5 million. I know. I was like, what? How, what and how? Like, was everyone asleep last summer when this amazing player is just going for 85 million? It's even less than I thought. I was like, no, it wasn't 120. It was 85. So it was an initial payment. And even then, what is the source for this? Because like, it's Sky News. Even then, it says the initial fee is actually 64 million. So just 64 million. And then the extra 20 is potential and add-ons, which is pretty wild. And just onto your kind of previous point there, Scheme 1 said, I'd say Nunes plus 60, 70 would get it done. It would get it done. I think that would perhaps be a bit... I don't know if that's perhaps a bit too much. I think Nunes plus 50, maybe 55, is a good deal. I think that's a good deal. That's a good deal for everyone involved. Atletico Madrid can buy a lot of defenders with 55 million because that's what they love doing. But that to me seems fair. I think that's fair. Nunes plus 60, you probably would do it, but you'd think we'd be getting I don't want to say ripped off. We'd be perhaps getting slightly ripped off with that kind of deal, but it's still you still probably do it. But anything above 60 plus Nunes, probably a bit too much. Yeah, it is a steal. According to kind of Sky Sports News, 64 million initial fee plus 20 million in add-ons. Sorry, plus 17 million in add-ons. The source is Sky News. I mean, they're pretty reputable. So, yeah, he has been playing very well this season for Atletico. Good amount of goals in the league, good amount of goals in the Champions League, good amount of goals in the Cup. So yeah, he's been a bit of a revelation. I'm surprised more teams were not in for him last year. Yeah, crazy fee. A lot less than I thought. Scheme 1 says, so yeah, maybe Nunes plus 40 to 50. Yeah, I think that would be, I think Nunes plus 40-ish is a good deal for us. I think Nunes plus 40-ish is a good deal for us. Nunes plus 50-ish is a fair deal. Nunes plus 60-ish is a good deal for them. So that's kind of how I'd put the scale kind of thing. So the Nunes plus 50 is probably like a fair deal, I think. Scheme 1 says, I wonder when Griezmann is going to leave. Probably when he's dead. And then when he dies, he will find a way to resurrect himself and come back. Abdul Rahim says, give Darwin Nunes for free. He isn't good enough. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Abdul. There have been times, I will admit, I may seem very mature and very sophisticated in this moment, But there have been times earlier in the season where I've been swearing profanities at the screen saying, just release him for free. I can't take this anymore. So I understand. I understand where you're coming from, but realistically, he's still Uruguay's starting striker, and I think realistically as well, I think on the continent, I think he's still got a pretty good reputation. So even though I have said that, and even though I have screamed that at the TV before, just release the guy for free. I think we can get a decent amount of money for him, and I think in addition to that, he's got a fair amount of time to run on his contract. Second half just started. I'll just reset the timer, which I haven't paused. 45. Clivert's coming on. I don't mind Clivert. I used to watch his dad play, Patrick Clivert. That shows you my age. But yeah, I think Nunes still got a significant amount of time to run on the contract. Physically, still very good. Technically, by God, he's useless. But physically, still very good. And I think, as I was saying before, I think a lot of managers in senior positions, to be a football manager, you have to have a bit of an ego. And I think a lot of these egos will say, I think I can turn him around. I think I can unlock him and make him into, the next Lewandowski or whatever. So I think people will take a risk on him, and we'll get a decent chunk of change. Nobody will quite turn him into Thierry Henry there. But I think at this point, a move will be good for him, good for Liverpool. Red Rebellion says, it depends how much they are willing to pay for Nunes. Yeah, it depends how much they're willing to pay. And I think it also depends kind of what we're asking for Nunes. From my perspective, if we get somewhere around the £60 million mark, I think that will be fantastic. If we get somewhere around the £50 million mark, I think that would be fair. Anything less than that, we're perhaps getting ripped off, but we might still take it. Second half just started. I'll just set the timer. There we go. So Bournemouth attacking right to left now. But we are more interested in Bournemouth's defenders here, because this is a scouting mission. Oh God, Kamara, edge of the box. Goes wide. Scheme 1 says, do you have a favourite team in Italy? Not really, to be honest. I find it hard to kind of support more than one team, if you know what I mean. And that even like extends to like when the national teams play. Like I find it quite hard to get behind like a national team. Like I'll watch it, but I find it hard to really support a national team or like a team in the other leagues. But yeah, I wouldn't say I have a favorite team, but the flip side to that is I also wouldn't say I really hate anyone. You know what I mean? I'm just lukewarm. Like I'll watch it if it's on kind of thing. But how about you? It sounds like you may have a favorite team in Italy. Scheme 1 says, yeah, I get you. I'm a Barcelona fan, first and foremost. But Napoli fan second because of family reasons, but I don't watch all the games. Fair enough. Makes sense. So you got like your main team, but kind of for family reasons, there's perhaps an attachment to Napoli. All good. Ooh, Kluivert there. Kluivert beat two players in the box, and instead of just taking a shot, he tried to beat the goalkeeper as well. It's almost as if Kluivert did the hard work, but didn't want us to just smack it in the net. Here's Morgan Rogers on the ball. He's another player who's been linked with Liverpool. A lot of Liverpool fans seem very big on Morgan Rogers. I mean, he's all right. He's all right. He's all right. He's okay. Wouldn't be my first choice by any means. But if he's cheap, might be worth doing it. Sumik35 says lucky title win. You know what? I'd take another 500 lucky title wins if it annoys people this much. And if anything, I hope next year's title win is even luckier. I hope we win it by 1 point. No, I hope we win it on goal difference. And I hope the goal is a goal that should have been offside. So yeah, I don't think it was lucky enough. It needs to be more lucky to annoy more people. Fish asks, who just scored? It wasn't just scored, Fish. So you've been asleep again. So who scored? It was Watkins. It was like a cross, a kind of cross came in. A cross came in. I think it was Morgan Rogers, and then Watkins just kind of tapped it in, and it went in. Scheme 1 says, what's your opinion on the whole Osman situation? Where do you think he'll go in the summer? It's a bit of a bizarre situation, to be honest. Like, I don't know kind of why and how he ended up at Galatasaray in the first place. But like, I'm not too sure, to be honest. I find the whole situation a bit perplexing in terms of where he'll end up. I think he could end up in the Premier League, but because he's a big name, I don't see Liverpool signing him, and that's not an insult. In some ways, that's a bit of a compliment. But because he's like he feels like more like a Chelsea or like a Man United. You know, Man United's scouting department is just like whoever has the most points on FIFA. So I don't see Liverpool signing him. He could go to Spain. He could go to Chelsea. He could go to Chelsea or something, I think. Yeah, we need to be even luckier next season. Sumik says overrated manager won't win. I agree. He's the most overrated, like useless, bold manager ever. So if nobody else can look at him because he's overrated, that'll be perfect. We need to push the narrative that he's overrated, because then when he asks for a new contract next year, it will be on low wages because everyone thinks he's rubbish. So yeah, overrated manager, Dutch fraud, lucky Premier League, lucky Eredivisie. Yeah, very overrated manager. Ryan says Liverpool were just lucky that Arsenal got injured with the 8 right backs. Yeah, we're just lucky that they just keep signing defenders. And I don't know if you've seen. I don't know if you've seen, Ryan, but they kind of linked with Martin Zubimendi now. So Arsenal are now buying Martin Zubimendi, which is yet another defensive player. I don't understand what fetish that Lego-headed manager has with buying buying defensive players. They desperately need a striker. They just keep buying right backs, keep buying centre backs, keep buying defensive midfielders, and then complain. And then complain. They'll complain next year that they don't have a striker. But it's the same conversation we were having a few weeks ago, that the Arsenal board does give Arteta money, but like he just keeps buying defensive players. Red Rebellion says you also have to remember that players have a value on our books. So if their fee with the selling club is settled, then you are no longer in the red with that player in your book. Let me just read that again. You also have to remember that players have a value on our books. So if their fee with the selling club is settled, then you are no longer you are no longer in the red with that player on your books. True. I think, are you perhaps kind of referring to the whole kind of amortization kind of concept of where they kind of, if it's like 60 million, from an accounting perspective, it might be like 12.5 million a season. But yeah, it would kind of get a player off our books and improve our finances from that perspective. Ryan says more than 70 million, Liverpool ain't touching it. Yeah, it's traditionally not a market that we kind of compete in, unless they have a change of heart this season with like Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes, and because I think when we were going over this earlier, we were going through kind of some of the players that we could sell, and it came to about 200 million. So they might. I don't know if we're being a bit romantic in our assumptions, but they might do it. But yeah, generally speaking, 70 million is way out of our price range. The only exception is if we sell a lot of players, they then might reinvest it. Sumik says Liverpool lol overrated club. Yeah, 100% kind of overrated club, overrated manager, overrated Premier League. Premier League's not that great. I'd rather kind of win the Carabao Cup. Overrated players, and yeah, pretty much everything about the club is overrated. Which then makes it funny when they win the league, right? Scheme 1 says, from what I understand, because he was making £12 million a year at Napoli, he doesn't want to lower his wages, and so Chelsea, United and Saudi couldn't get a... Okay. From what I understand, because he was making £12 million a year at Napoli, so what's that per week? So 12 million over 52. Okay, so it's about 230 grand a week. So because he was making 230 grand a week at Napoli, he doesn't want to lower his wages, and so Chelsea, United and Saudi teams couldn't get a deal done. But he was all right, so he's like, I just need to get out, I just need to kind of get out of Napoli kind of situation. But I think next season, kind of with the new kind of financial year, maybe these maybe the clubs like United and Chelsea will have more budget and then might be able to fund wages of that sort of caliber. It could have been just something at the time. I think at the time when kind of Osimhen went, United had already bought so many players, and Chelsea had bought every 18-year-old player with a pulse, so they couldn't really spend anymore. But I think with the new year, kind of budgets reset and financials reset, maybe they'll be in for him. Fish says, name me seven non-English West Ham players. Why do you always set me these quizzes, Fish? Fabianski, is he still West Ham? Mikel Antonio is Jamaican. There's two. Jared Bowen's English, can't say him. Souček 3. And your goalkeeper, I can't remember his name, but I'll take that. So there, I got half. That's all right. Sumik35 says, I mean, if he was good, he would have masterminded against a Farmers League PSG. PSG made EPL Farmers League thanks to Liverpool. But why do Liverpool make it a Farmers League and not Everton and not Villa and not Arsenal? You know what I mean? Didn't PSG beat Arsenal by a bigger scoreline than they did Liverpool? So surely Arsenal have a level of culpability in your assertion here, Sumik. Ryan says, not going to lie, I would like to see Liverpool just spend big bucks for once in the summer. You're right. I think we just got PTSD. I think we got PTSD to a certain degree. You know, like we get like so excited about, yeah, we're gonna sign this guy, and then we don't. And like, okay, but maybe we'll get this guy. We don't. So I think we're kind of experienced from some of the depressing summers that we've have. I think perhaps the slight difference this summer is it looks like there's going to be a clear out of players. And what I will say about kind of FSG, when we sell players, for example, Coutinho, for example, kind of Sadio Mane, for example, Nico Williams, when we sell these players, they do let us then, let us is perhaps the wrong terminology, but they do, they do allow us, same fucking word, they do allow us to then spend the money when we sell players. So I think the reason why this summer might be different, and of course I might be completely wrong, but it's because we're going to sell so many players, so I think we'll raise a lot of money. Whereas last season we didn't really have anyone to sell. So if we do raise £200 million in sales, we might invest that on a big player, like we did with the Van Dijk. The last time we raised a lot of money through sales was Coutinho, and then we spent £75 million on Van Dijk, 65 on Alisson. This feels like another Coutinho-ish window with respect to raising a lot of money through sales. But again, I could be talking nonsense. We could sell £200 million worth of players, and then like Linda's chest gets even bigger, and then we know where the money went. So I kind of understand both sides. Red Rebellion says Arsenal fans are crying. That is the story of the life of Arsenal fans. Constantly crying, and then creating a bit of noise whenever they sign a player, thinking that they're actually going to win something. And then when they realize they won't win something, crying. Like the Arsenal's problem is obvious. It's their manager. He is useless. He's completely clueless. He's completely tactically inept. He's basically a trainee. They hired a trainee. Like Arteta hadn't had a senior manager job before this, and they just put him in the manager seat and gave him £1 billion. That's their problem. Once they replace Arteta with a proper manager, they might have some success. But yeah, from a fan perspective, as you've said there, Red Rebellion, it is funny, and it is amusing to kind of see them cry. Just kind of how much, just kind of partly due to how loud they are. Arsenal fans are very loud, but they have no basis for being loud. Liverpool fans have a basis for being loud. Heck, I'd even say Man United fans, even though they haven't had much success recently, still have a basis for being loud. But like, why are Arsenal fans loud? Chelsea fans, again, they have a reason. They have a reason for kind of being loud. But why are Arsenal loud? You've won nothing of any significance in 20 years. Scheme 1 said, true. Fabrizio says he's not staying at Galatasaray or Napoli, so I expect Chelsea or United to make a bigger offer. Yeah, the reason for that scheme is those are the types of clubs which as far as I see, go for the big names, go for like the big FIFA players. So I can see him ending up there. Red Rebellion says Chelsea wage cap is 150k. That's why he never went to Chelsea. Oh, is that like a permanent wage cap, or is that just the wage cap for last season? Is this how they fiddle with their finances? They give low wages, so 150, but over like 8 years. Is that how they get around the rules? Orion said just give Slot 200 million and let him go for it. Yeah, within reason. Like if he goes to Turkey, he's probably gonna spend it on like the biggest hair transplant. So let's not let him go for it too much. But I hear what you're saying. I think he's earned that sort of treatment, hasn't he? Because let's be honest, he came into a new job, into a foreign country, has been kind of very well behaved, and backs the owners, backs the management structure, and perhaps most importantly of all, has kind of delivered a Premier League. So in many ways, it's not even 200 million. In many ways, it's like 100 million per season because he didn't spend anything last season, if you know what I mean. So I think that's fair. Give him the money, but of course, get the kind of data structure get the data structure around him to ensure the signings are good signings that fit into our way of playing. And yeah, let him have a bit of fun. Because the kind of reasoning that was given last season was, oh, he needs to assess the squad, which I thought was which I understood, but looks like an even smarter decision now. But now that he's assessed the squad, yeah, give him a bit of money and let's buy a left back that he wants, because he clearly hates the left backs that we have. Let's get him a striker that he wants, because he clearly hates the striker that we have. And yeah, let's go from there. Asumik says, in capital letters, I mean, in first leg, it was literally PSG versus Alisson. And I am not a Netflix FC fan. You're not Netflix FC fan. Do you like Hulu or like iPlayer, Paramount Plus? Are those like the kind of streaming service? Apple TV maybe? You like Apple TV? One of those? Don't like Nico Williams. We were actually talking about the right back. The right back, Nico Williams. That's NECO. I watched one. He did poor against us, but who is the us? That is the question. Because you said you're not Netflix, you're not Paramount, you're not Apple TV, you're not Hulu, you're not BBC iPlayer. But so like, which one are you? Ryan says, I wish Liverpool never sold Mane. That attack force with Mane Salah was amazing. It was amazing. And I saw a lot of I was watching that today on Red Rebellion's YouTube channel. He's posted like old goals of kind of Salah, and there's and obviously with respect to kind of the goals that Salah scored, Mane assisted a lot of them. But it was an amazing time, just like having an absolutely rapid guy down the right, an absolutely rapid guy down the left, and both of them could finish as well. Like it's one of those things where like you perhaps don't appreciate it at the time, and like I'm guilty of this as well. But then looking back, you're like, damn, we were kind of living good. So yeah, I do miss them. Ryan says our Arsenal problem is the manager and the board. Yeah, I hear you. But I think their biggest problem is the manager. That guy's utterly clueless. Like even this week, he was saying that they were the kind of the best team in the Champions League, and when you start kind of spouting nonsense like that, that is where that to me is like where the end starts, where it starts becoming the beginning of the end. You know, like when you start saying, yeah, we were the better team, but you clearly weren't. That's when you know the manager's head's gone. And I think internally in the club, he's perhaps under a bit of pressure from the people above him, which is perhaps why he's trying to paint this narrative. But yeah, I'd say their biggest problem. I'd say that their biggest problem is the manager. The second biggest problem is their fans, and perhaps the third problem is the board. I think a lot of the players that they have are quite good. I think the issue is the tactics are too defensive. So these players can't thrive in it, which is why if they replace the manager with somebody competent, I think they'll do all right. Sumik35 says Xabi to Real Madrid. Yeah, I saw that. It'll be interesting. To kind of see Xabi at Real Madrid, considering he plays a different system. Because last I saw of Leverkusen, they played 3 at the back with wing backs, whereas Madrid play kind of 4 at the back. So it will be interesting to see how it goes, because he's going to have to spend pre-season teaching these players a new system. So that's point number 1. And point number 2, these players, they play for Real Madrid, they're going to have giant egos, which again isn't necessarily a bad thing. So how successful is Xabi going to be with respect to implementing a brand new system in a team full of egos? I don't know, but curious to see it. Red Rebellion says the only reason why Chelsea and the likes of City have spent more than others is because they've bought and sold more players than the other clubs. They have. They have bought and sold a lot of players. I I think additionally though, like Chelsea done some funny business. You know, didn't let they like sell a hotel to themselves to raise money, and didn't they then sell the women's team to themselves to raise money? So that's a bit suspicious. I think with the Man City side, there's all these kind of sponsorships where they're saying, yeah, we've raised 100 million from, I don't know, we've raised 100 million from Costa Holdings in Abu Dhabi, and then Costa Holdings doesn't actually exist. So I think they have sold players, but I think those two teams are doing kind of dodgy business as well. Whereas I don't think Liverpool are doing any dodgy business. To be fair, I don't think Man United are doing any dodgy business. I think they're just kind of poorly managed. But yeah. Sumik says, I hope we win on the 21st against Watchalong. Does that mean you're a... Is it Man United? Man United Europa League? I don't remember these competitions, Sumik. I'm messing with you. But I presume you're a Man United fan. Which means nothing in the bigger picture when there are squad rules. You can only register a maximum of 25 first team players in a season. True. And additionally, within that, a certain number have to be English. So a certain number kind of have to be homegrown. A certain number have to have been at the club since they were younger and so forth. So yeah, that makes things a bit more difficult. I think what these clubs typically do is they just buy a bunch of players and then loan them out to kind of get around that, and then the good ones they keep, and the rubbish ones they sell. Sumik says, young Ronaldo greater than prime Salah. An interesting point there, Sumik. So is this the same Ronaldo that played for Sporting? That one, the one that played for Sporting and Real Madrid. I don't remember him playing for anyone else. Was it Sporting Lisbon, wasn't it? Ronaldo, like CR7. Is that guy CR7? Yeah, I think he played Sporting, and he played Real Madrid, and then Juventus, I think, and then. Was it Juventus decided? Yeah, it's just those four clubs as far as I remember for that CR7 guy. Madrid have spent less than Arsenal, Spurs, and Liverpool over the last 15 seasons. They must be doing something right. Spending the most money means nothing. Yeah, that's an important point as well. Man United have spent crazy amounts of money, but haven't really had anything to kind of show for it. Kind of similar with Chelsea. It's about buying the right players. It's not necessarily about buying the most expensive players, and moreover, it's about buying the right players for the system. It's about buying the right players for the system, and I think also now, with respect to the direction that Real Madrid are going, they appear to be going more in a free transfer direction. You know what I mean? Let's get Trent on a free. Let's get Rudiger on a free. Let's get Saliba on a free. Let's get Kanate on a free. Let's get whoever on a free. Oh, as a toilet paper ran out in the bathroom, let's see if we can get toilet paper on a free. They seem to be going down the route of convincing and perhaps manipulating players to go on a free, which I guess brings their transfer fees down even lower, I guess. But yeah, it's interesting the way things are going. Ryan says, Xavi's going to struggle with the Madrid ego problem. Do you reckon? I think you might be right. I'm curious to see it. Like, I'm curious to kind of see how it's going to work. Why this could perhaps be like an even bigger problem for Xavi is because it looks like he's going to have to change the system, right? To his 3 at the back, 5 at the back system. Whereas if I'm Rudiger, I think I'm a big tough guy, you know. I'm a big tough guy that throws bottles at referees. I'm gonna be like, who's this little, you know, former player? Thinks he can tell me I need a defender on the right hand side and the left hand side. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. We will keep an eye on it. We will keep an eye on it. And it'll be interesting to kind of see how he manages Trent as well. To be honest, but yeah, let's see. We'll keep an eye on it over the next few months, and then when he gets sacked, we can say, yeah, that's exactly what Ryan said. Sumik35 says Chelsea sold the women's team to avoid PSR. Yeah, didn't they sell it to themselves or some nonsense like that? I want Oil FC to non-league. Who are your Oil FC? Man City, presumably. I'm a Man United fan. I gathered from the Bottleham reference. I remembered when Liverpool bottled it against Atlanta. Are you sure you're not a Liverpool fan? Because you seem to remember more Liverpool fixtures than Man United fixtures. You know, like the 7-0. Have you just like blocked that one out? You know, the 7-0 is that one just don't exist anymore. Really? CR7 did play for United. I don't think he did. I honestly don't think he did. Like, I'm 100% sure. CR7, as in Ronaldo, he went from Sporting. These are the big clubs that he played for. He played for Sporting, which is like a giant club in Portugal. Then he went not too far to Madrid, and he was great at Madrid. And then he went to Juventus, and then he went to Saudi, I think. So he definitely didn't play for Man United. And as far as I recall, it wasn't a front three. It was just Rooney, Tevez, and nobody on the right. Because I don't remember Ronaldo playing for Man United. And I'm pretty sure I'm correct, because even when Ronaldo scored against Man United, he celebrated like yeah. So I don't remember CR7 ever playing for Man United or Sir Alex Ferguson. Yeah, 100% irrelevant club. Let's be fair, Madrid legacy carries that club. Yeah, it does. It does. I'll be interested to kind of see what happens. I mean, I guess there's a chance. I guess there's a chance Xabi won't change the system. But like, whatever happens is interesting, right? Whatever happens, the impact of that is going to be very interesting to see. Red Rebellion says, "Lol." This might be about me pretending Ronaldo didn't play for Man United. Like saying Coutinho never played for Liverpool. No, Coutinho did play for Liverpool. He was number 10. We signed him from Inter Milan for 8.5 million, and then we sold him for 142 million. It's like saying Antonio Rudiger didn't play for Liverpool. Antonio Rudiger didn't play for Liverpool, and CR7 didn't play for Man United, because I'd remember it if it did. Same 7-0, same year, you won. Nice trophy. It was a nice-ish trophy, but the Premier League trophy we won this year is a bit nicer. Just like a bit nicer, but not significantly. Your ball knowledge, 0. So my ball knowledge is equal to Man United's major trophies in the last 10 years. He didn't celebrate it like that. He did. He looked so happy. There was like I remember before the game, a lot of Man United fans were saying, I wonder if Ronaldo's gonna celebrate. I wonder if he's gonna celebrate if he scores. And he scored, and I've never seen him look so happy. The only time he looked happier was when they said he didn't have to go to the United States. Red Rebellion says a second time round, Ronaldo was a disaster for United. He was a disaster, and I think it was a bit unfortunate for them. Because I felt like with Solskjaer, they were playing some decent football. They had like an attacking team. They had like a young team. They had an aggressive team. But as soon as they kind of stuck Ronaldo into it, it just completely ruined the way that they were playing. And it set them back years. It was a oh, I think the player's been sent off here. It was an emotional siding which set the club back years. Sumik says, where's Hike? Mike. Liverpool are a relevant club. I remember when we beat 4-3 last year, FA Cup. I don't remember these small cups, Sumik. It's like which one is the FA Cup again? Which one is that? I don't remember. Is that the one that starts early, or is that the one that starts in January? I don't remember these small trophies, man. You need to talk about Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues. Bournemouth almost scored. Semenyo almost scored there. But yeah, I don't like remember like FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and what's the other one? What's the European one? Is it like the one with there's like a game coming up where like Tottenham are the favourites, but I can't remember what that trophy is called. Is it UEFA Cup? No. It's not. It's not UEFA Cup. But there's some sort of European trophy. Like, I don't remember those as well. It's only Premier League and Champions League. Sumik says, nope. 100% Coutinho didn't play Liverpool. I mean, I'm fairly sure he did. But even if he didn't, who cares? You know what I mean? He didn't. Okay. We'll agree to disagree. Sumik says, are you sure you aren't United fan because you know more about United than Liverpool? It's because you keep asking me United questions. So then I answer them. You know what I mean? Salah Ballon d'Or gone. Maybe. I think he should win it. I would give it to him over Rafinha. But if he doesn't win it, who cares? Life goes on, right? It's an individual trophy. Ooh, Bournemouth through. Kirkes. That's a penalty. That's got to be a penalty. Same trophy bottled last year. What trophy is that? What trophy was bottled last year? You know, when you win the Premier League this year, Sumik, it's really hard to remember kind of smaller trophies from kind of previous years. Haida Mahmood says Dembele probably will. Yeah, he'll. I think especially if they win the Champions League. I think if you're kind of associated with Barcelona, you kind of have better PR. So I think it's going to be really hard for Salah to win it, if I'm honest. If Salah was Brazilian, like if he was Salinho, or if he was English, I don't know, if he was called Mike Salad, then he might get it. But he doesn't seem to have the PR to win it. But what I have seen is he has been doing kind of more media stuff this week. He's been doing interviews and things. So hopefully he's trying to boost his PR to win it. But yeah, I think I like from my perspective, I think he deserves to win it. But if he doesn't win it, no problem. Like he's not my dad. That's kind of how I see it. So, Sunny says, I saw your comment. Which one? Which one, Sonny? I spend far too much time trolling that channel. You'll have to remind me which comment I put. I just put like sarcastic comments on that AFTV channel, and then I get loads of angry Arsenal fans. But the good thing is I get loads of Liverpool fans agreeing with me, so I'll take that. I saw your comment in the AFTV extra. Great comment. And also, remember, Arteta said the better team lose the semis. All hail my king Arteta. Give him a 5-year contract ASAP. I hear ya. Arteta's the biggest problem, I think, at that club. He's tactically inept. He's Hoyson there. Good defending by Hoyson. Because this is a scouting mission for Bournemouth that we're supposed to be doing here. I just don't see. Tell me one positive of Arteta. He's wasted like £1 billion on players, on good players to be fair, but he doesn't know how to coach them. Tactically inept, horrible personality, lame haircut. But like, what do they expect? They hired like an intern. Like Arteta is literally an intern. He had no senior job. They just hired him as an intern, gave him a bunch of money, and then they complain that it don't work. Sumik says Salah don't deserve it in capitals. Well, I thought he did deserve it, but since you put capital letters, I'm now convinced. You've convinced me. You've convinced me with the capital letters. Sunny says the thing is simple. If Dembele win the Champions League, then he'll win it because he's French, and the French panel judges it. Oh yeah, of course, yeah. I totally forgot that it's a French award. But yeah, but I'm coming up with all these exotic reasons. Like if it was called Saladinho, he might win it. But yeah, of course, it's a French award. Yeah. Let's hope Mr. Ibrahim Konate can maybe be there soon. Haida Mahmood says FAFTV. You're damn right about that. Oh god, just some of the nonsense that they come out with. Like I don't know if they actually believe this or they're just saying it to be controversial and get views, but it is truly perplexing. Yeah, deluded managers like the fans, 100%. So in some ways, it's like not even a match made in heaven, like a match made in hell. Like literally, like the worst fans and the worst manager, you put them together, and then they kind of stick. Red Rebellion says Arteta refuses to take responsibility when that's a good point. Arteta refuses to take responsibility when Arsenal keep on failing. He will always push the blame to everything else. That's a good point. And I think additionally now, he's reached that level of delusion where he's saying, oh, you know what, guys? We were the best team in the Champions League. We were better than PSG, but we just when like your excuses don't work, so then you try changing facts by saying, you know what, we were actually the best team. He's progressed to like stage 2 of delusion. I don't think there's much time. I don't think there's much time left for him, but let's hope they keep him around a bit longer. Sumik says Salah deserve it. Liverpool fans delusional. You've taken your caps lock off. See, you've taken your caps lock off, so now I don't know whether to believe that. Sunny Hadjawari says people call Arsenal fans deluded, but you can't blame them. The coach says they were the better team whilst losing. Yeah. Exactly. This is what I mean. It's like it kind of goes in stages. It's a bit like the stages of grief, but in some ways this is the stages of delusion. And I feel like he's at the third stage of delusion where he's trying to change facts. It's like, mate, you were clearly not the better team. I don't know if he's getting pressure internally from the people above him, so he's trying to create a narrative to save his job. I presume something like that's happening, but of course we're not privy to this. Hader says, imagine they keep talking about next season. They are, like, even now, unlike AFTV, where I spend too much time trolling in the comments. They say, saying that they're really excited for next season because they're getting Zubimendi. You know, they've been crying all year for an attacker, and they get yet another defensive player, and now they're excited about next season. It's like, how many times can you... I was going to say you idiots, but how many times can you people repeatedly make the same mistake over and over again? Buy a defensive player, yeah, we're going to win the league. You guys need a striker. And they also need a new manager. But because they won't get a new manager, they ain't gonna do much. The thing is as well, like, we're gonna strengthen, Man City gonna strengthen, Chelsea gonna strengthen, Newcastle gonna strengthen. They've shown as well, I think, this season that they don't really kind of have the mental strength to cope with kind of tough situations. Because I think to be successful, yeah, it kind of requires ability on the pitch, but it also requires a certain level kind of mental acumen to kind of get through the tough times. And those bunch of players, they seem a bit weak. So this season might have kind of taken it out of them to the point where they feel like they can't go again. Hader also says Evra was right. Next season FC. Yeah, is that the one where he said it's like Netflix? It's like Netflix. Yeah, there's always next season. Yeah. True. And again, like I don't know why these Arsenal fans have like so much chest. Why they're so aggressive. They've not won a major title for 20 years. If Man United fans did that, I'd understand. Because I think ultimately they're still a big club. If Chelsea fans did that, I'd understand. Because they still have, you know, it wasn't too long ago that they won a Champions League. Arsenal have got nothing in 20 years. And FA Cup don't count. Fish says, I combined all the Mawam all together and eating it. Oh, that sounds good, you know. You know when you combine all the sweets together and then they make like a weird combination, but it's a good combination. I see what you're doing. Sunny says, hey dad, don't say FAFTV. They're the only reason I didn't use their open chair because they made me laugh at them. I need my daily dose of laughter. I hear ya. He's probably saying F them and their silly opinions. But I guess on the flip side, their silly opinions and delusions can be quite entertaining. I haven't seen Ty recently. Is he still alive? What's going on with Ty? But yeah, they're good to troll. I just go on there, like I leave like a really rude comment, as you've seen. I go on the AFTV extra, not on the. I go on there. I leave like a really rude comment, and I just leave. And then I come back, and there's like all these people shouting at me. Sumik35 says, Liverpool fan sarcasm hilarious. Thank you, Sumik35. You have been here for over half an hour, so I'm glad you appreciate it. Sonny says, so when's the next phase of Arteta? First they didn't buy a striker, then they cry about a striker after losing everything. Watch them buy a defender or defensive-minded midfielder. Oh, literally, they're signing Zubimendi, who's a defensive midfielder. Like, the season isn't over yet, and they can't help themselves. They're already buying another defender. Like, how many times can you just make the same mistake? I wouldn't say I feel sorry for them, but it's like, I take pity on them because they're just doing the same thing over and over again. It's insanity. Red Rebellion says, the fact that Zubimendi has turned down Arsenal before and turned us down is a major red flag. All of a sudden now he wants to leave Spain. Yeah, again, he doesn't really kind of seem to have the mentality for the top level. And I think what happened last season is Sociedad, they offered him a new contract and then they didn't give it to him, I think. So now he's probably just had enough and be like, yeah, you know what, guys, I'm out. But yeah, it is a bit of a red flag. It is a bit of a red flag. Um, I know some Liverpool fans kind of wanted us to kind of go back in for him, but I was like, nah. Don't want him. Turn us down once. We will kind of move on. It could be because there's a Spanish manager there at Arsenal, but ultimately, like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, he's not what they need. And if anything, it's the opposite end of the scale. He's more of what they don't need. So from my perspective, I'm like, yeah, it's a bit weird, but you do whatever makes you happy, Arsenal. But I don't think it's gonna give you what you want. Sunny says, yeah, Ty disappeared after the Champions League match. Like, what happened? Must be having a chat with the referee, because the referee is a disgrace. Come on, Ty, I need my laughter. Give me your horrible take. Yeah, well, he was always kind of holding on, wasn't he, for kind of the next thing. So when Liverpool went kind of multiple points clear, it was oh, they'll slip up. And then when Liverpool actually won the league, it was, oh, we'll win the Champions League. And then when they get knocked out of the Champions League, perhaps now he doesn't really have an excuse. So he doesn't want to face the music of kind of all the silly things that he's been saying. I presume it's that. But I don't know. Maybe that, or maybe he's at school on the weekend. Who knows? He'll be back soon. He's just waiting for things, I think, to perhaps kind of die down a little bit, I think. But yeah, he'll be back. So this game is over. 1-0. 1-0 to Villa, which is not bad. Amadou Onana celebrating. Tyrone Mings not looking very happy, which is bizarre for a win. I'll just be back 1 second. Just wait, Ty will say he saw the ref hanging out with Arna before the Champions League match started. This is all a massive plot against Arsenal. Damn you, FA and Liverpool, yeah. And damn you, Ryan Babel. Ryan Babel in 2009 and Robert Perez in 2005 and King Henry VIII in 1800. Yeah. Uh, there's always some sort of kind of bizarre logic with that guy. Let's put it that way. But yeah, cool. All right, 1-0 win. 1-0 win for Villa. Pretty not the most exciting game. Our prospective new signings looked okay, I think. Kerkez did okay. Hoyson did okay. I think the goal did come down Kerkez's side, but again, he's only human. Cool. But anyway, I will be back tomorrow for the Liverpool game. Red Rebellion says, really enjoyed the chat. You've got a positive and intellectual view about our club, which is a good thing. Need to run now. Big game tomorrow. See you again. Appreciate that, Red Rebellion. Appreciate everything you've said in the chat as well. So thank you for that. Big game tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow. And yeah, hopefully see you soon. And yeah, I look forward to the compilations on YouTube. Sunny Hajawari says, will you stream the UEFA Conference and Europa League finals? Yeah, we gotta do it. I hope they're not on the same day. Like, they won't be, right? Shall I Google it? Yeah, see you tomorrow. Yeah, but back for the Liverpool game tomorrow, Liverpool Arsenal, and yeah, we will do those games as well. But yeah, I'm gonna go eat something now because I'm starving. But yeah, see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.